So today we're covering order of operations, and we're looking at 1.6. The date for today is September 17th, and we're looking at pages 15 through 16. You want to make sure you write it in your second table of contents. So 15 through 16, order of operations. And so again, just double check and make sure that you're going to write your notes on the right side. Okay, so page 16 is on the right side. You are going to grab your foldable. Again, make sure you're foldable. You can still see these letters on the sides. Right? So, order of operations. When we're doing order of operations, it's kind of like going down a list. So deciding what you have to do first, what do you do second, what do you do third, right, and so on. So, order of operations, a lot of you guys remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, right, or PEMDAS, if you learned it that way. The only thing you have to be careful with is how you group the letters. Okay, so first we always check for parentheses. So do you guys see these signs, right? They can be round, or they can be brackets, and they can be squared. Okay, so we always do whatever is on the inside first. That's your P, parentheses. Then we move on to exponents. Which one is the exponent here? The E or the X? The X, right? So if you see an exponent, so like this X here, right? That would be your exponent, the X. Then you know that that's the second thing you would do, okay? And there's an E for exponents. Third step is we're deciding if we're going to multiply or divide. Do you guys see how the letters are together? And how they're in the same number, right? You're going to do whichever comes first from left to right. So you're going to go ahead and highlight from left to right. Or you can underline it with a marker, okay? You don't have to highlight it. So left to right, whatever you see first, that's what you do, okay? We're going to go over a few more symbols for division. So how else can division look? What's another way to write division? So you could have this forward slash. Oh, that's true. You could have a box, right? So A divided by B. You can have a box. So I'll zoom in on that. Edson, what else?
The division sign.
You could have the division sign, right? You guys have seen that one before. You could also have a fraction. So A over B like that. Whenever you have a fraction, that's also division, right? You guys know that whenever you see a fraction, that means you divide? Yes?
All the time or something?
Well, that's what it's telling you. It's division, basically.
Is that a B?
Yes. So instead of using numbers, I'm just using letters. What about multiplication? We don't see X's as much. Yes?
You can use 2 parentheses.
Right. So if you do the parentheses right next to each other, that's also multiplication, right? So A and B. Joshua?
You could have the dot.
You could have the dot. Anything else? Edson?
You can have the numbers right next to each other.
Right, so having the numbers, that would be the parentheses too. Well, because if you were to write like 24, does that mean you multiply 2 and 4? No, right? So they can be next to each other, but they have to be in parentheses. Okay? Yes?
A number next to a letter.
Right, a number next to letter would be multiplication. So if you have, let's say like 4B, so kind of like what Edson was saying, they're right next to each other, that's also multiplication. And we will get to that as well, okay? So that's number 3. So what's the last step? What do we look for the last one? Addition and subtraction. And we do the same thing. We go from left to right. Okay, you go from left to right. So same thing. So again, order of operations, we're just going down the list and we're looking to see what steps we need to do in order to get the correct answer. Okay? You guys are going to see that if you don't follow the correct steps, do you think you're going to get the correct answer? No, right? And the reason we have an order of operations is because when people do math, people think differently, right? And so people might do it different ways. And so if we have a certain order we have to follow, then we make sure that everyone gets the same answer. Edson?
Does lecture also go with parentheses and exponents?
Does what?
Like, do you also go with exponents and parentheses? That's right.
Absolute value? No.
No, exponents and
Oh, do you also go left to right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Start with the ones you see the most to the left and then move on. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up and start doing some of the problems inside. Okay, so here we have subtraction and we have addition. Which one do I do first? Do I add or do I subtract?
add.
Okay, so listen. Shh. Okay, some of you are saying add, right? Because here, and that's a common mistake. We have addition then subtraction. But we did say you have to go from left to right, okay? So you do whichever one comes first. Which one's the closest on the left?
Subtraction.
So we do subtraction first. You're going to write SUB for subtraction. If that's going to confuse you, you can write out the whole word. But then that way, if you just write sub, it's not as much work. So 15 minus 11 is
4.
4. And so we're going to have 4 plus 3. So our next step is to do what?
Add.
Add. We're going to add, right? So 4 plus 3 is 7. If we would have done it the other way, we would have had 11 plus 3 is 14. And then 15 minus 14 is 1. Are they the same answer? No. Okay. Next one, we have addition and we have multiplication. What do we do first?
Multiplication.
Multiplication.
No, multiplication.
Remember, if you're forgetting, go back to the side, right? You want to make sure you do multiplication because that comes before addition and subtraction. Okay. So we have 3 plus, what's 4 times 2? 8. And then we're going to go ahead and add. So 3 plus 8 is 11. Okay, next one. So let's just go through the order. Are there any parentheses? No. Are there any exponents?
Yes.
Yes. So we want to go ahead and do exponents first, right? So we're going to write, I'm going to write EXP for exponent. Now 3 squared, how would I solve what 3 squared is? Valerie?
You have to multiply 32 times.
So is it 3 times 2?
No, 3 times
Good. 3 times 3. And what is 3 times 3?
9.
9, right? So we bring down the 5. So it's 5 plus 9. And so our last step is just to add. And so 5 plus 9 is 14. Okay, and then the next one we have 2 times parentheses 3 plus 4. So let's go down our list. Parentheses?
Yes.
Yes. So we do those first, right? Parentheses. I'm just going to put a P for parentheses. I don't know, how would we abbreviate parentheses? Paren. I have trouble spelling parentheses. No, it's P-E. Oh, no, it is P-A.
That's P-A-R.
No, it doesn't help. There it is. Oh, yeah, I know, because it's on the side, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize my
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere, right? Thank you. So what did you guys get there? What's 3 times 4? 7, right? So it's 2 times 7.
14.
So again, I'm going to write M-U-L-T for multiply, and your answer is 14.
I have a question.
Okay, if you have a question, raise your hand. Shh. Miguel? I did. Oh, right. So we're adding within the parentheses, right? Yes. Bronson?
I have a question about the 3 plus 4 one.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we multiply? I mean, why didn't we add?
Why did we add first?
No, like,
Because you said 3.
why is the answer 11?
What?
Why is the answer 11?
We had to go left to right. Why is it 11?
It's 14.
2?
No, not that one.
This one?
Oh, the next one? Okay, sorry. Number 2. Sorry. Okay. So we do order of operations, right? So if we go down our list, are there any parentheses on that problem? Are there any exponents? Do we have multiplication or division?
Yeah.
So we do that one first, okay? So when we look at it, we have to multiply 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And so now all we have left over is to add. So 3 plus 8 is 11.
Well,
All right? 8, 9, 10, 11.
where did we get the 3?
From right here. We just brought the 3 down.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so we're going to move on to the right side. That one's going to be a little bit longer because there's a lot more numbers.
Whoa.
But as long as you follow the steps, okay, we're going to get the right answer. So
That's right.
we'll order, right? So let's go through their list. Are there any parentheses?
Yes.
Yes, so we do those first, okay? So we bring down the 17. We're going to write 3 times, right? If a number is next to it, that's multiplication. So we're going to simplify the inside. What's 2 plus 7?
9.
9. We're going to leave the exponent. We're going to bring down our subtraction sign. Bring down the 8. Oh, we hit parentheses again. Okay, so let's simplify that. What's 6 minus 1?
5.
5. And then we have divided by 4. Right? So we did parentheses. Now, notice how there's still parentheses written, but can we simplify anything on the inside? Can we do anything else to the 9 on the inside there?
No.
No, right? So we're done with parentheses. Then we move on to what's next? Exponents. And if you guys see, there's an E there for exponents, right? So we're going to do our exponents next. What has an exponent?
9.
The 9, right? So we're going to write down 9 squared is equal to, how would I write that down? 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is
81.
81. Okay? So now we have to write 81 in that spot. So we're going to have to rewrite everything. So 17 plus 3 times 81 minus 8 times 5 divided by 4. If you think about it, it really only takes about 10 seconds or so to rewrite it. Okay? And the reason we're always rewriting is to make sure that we don't make easy mistakes, okay? Because there's a lot of numbers, right? If you write one wrong, it's very easy to make a mistake. So we did exponents. Do we see any more exponents? Nope. So we can move on to the next one. So it's parentheses, exponents, then multiply and divide from left to right. So we're going to start at the very left side, just how you write. We write from left to right. So you start at the very left side, and we're going to go work our way through, okay? So 17, are we doing anything with that yet? Nope. We have plus, and then we have 3 times 81. So we hit multiplication, so we need to work that out. Okay, so this here is a plus sign. Whenever we have a number next to parentheses, that means multiplication. Well, you could do it on top if you want to. But you guys are going to see a lot of this year, so you need to start learning and understanding that when you have a number times or next to parentheses, right? So if 2 numbers are next to each other and one of them is in parentheses, it's multiplication. Okay, so it's just kind of like a learning process. You have to learn it. So what did you guys get? What's 81 times 3?
243.
243.
Oh.
Yep, 243. I have minus, and what's 8 times 5?
40.
40. And we're still dividing, right? That's our next step still. So we still have 17 plus 243 minus, and what's 40 divided by 4?
10.
10. Right, so you can see how far we've gone, right? We went from that really long expression to a much smaller one. So do we have any more multiplying or dividing? No, so now we can do what? Add and subtract, right? From left to right. So first we have 17 plus 243. So it's 17 plus 243.
260.
260, yep, good job. So it's 260 minus 10, and then what's the answer to that? 250, good. Alright, so on the right side, we're going to go through 4 examples, and hopefully we can get through them in about 5 or 6 minutes, so then that way you guys can do homework, okay? So this will glue in a little bit, so just put it off to the side. We'll come back to it. Example number 1, so just write a number 1, because we're trying to save space. I want you to copy it how I write it down, just to make sure that you have enough space for everything, okay? So we're going to do 3 times a negative 4 minus 5, and it's going to be divided by 3 squared. Now, in order to save space, we are going to move that way, so to the right, okay?
Why didn't you put the multiplication sign?
Oh, right here? Because you guys are now learning that when you have a number next to parentheses, it means you're doing what? Multiplication, right? Yep. Is that better? Yeah? Okay, so order of operations, what do we always do first? Parentheses, right? So we're going to have 3 times. Now, inside my parentheses, what type of problem is this? Subtraction, right? So since it's subtraction, what do we do with subtraction problems? Good, turn it to addition. So we're going to go ahead and have negative 4, right? We keep it. The subtraction becomes addition, and the positive 5 is now a negative 5. And we're still dividing it by 3 squared, right? So right now we're just trying to work out the parentheses. So it's going to be 3 times, what's a negative 4 plus a negative 5? So remember, if we were to go back, right, or even if you go on your number line, look at the number line. If you're at negative 4 and we're going to add a negative, do we go left or right? You go left, right? So that is a negative 9. And it's still over 3 squared. So right now, what step did we do? Parentheses, right? So we just did parentheses. Now, right, good. After parentheses, we have exponents. Do we have exponents?
Yes.
Yes, right? So we're going to have 3 still times a negative 9. What's 3 squared? 9. And so right now we did exponents. I'm going to draw an E for exponents. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because you can multiply. Multiplying and dividing is next, right? And we know this is division. So the question is, do we multiply first or do we divide first? Okay, so you're supposed to be going from left to right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the top first, and then we'll divide by 9 at the end. Okay, because we're going to do the top, and then the bottom, and then divide at the end. So what's 3 times a negative 9? Negative 27. And we're dividing it by 9, right? So we just did what? Multiplication? So then you're going to come back to this side and just we'll finish on that side. I should have started more on the left. If you still have space, you can write the answer down. So what's a negative 27 divided by 9?
30.
I mean negative 3.
Oh.
Right? When you divide negative 27 divided by 9, it's going to be a negative 3.
At first I thought it was going to be positive because I didn't see the negative.
Okay, yep. So pay attention to those signs, right? The signs change your answer. So the last thing we did was we were dividing.
I
Raise
wrote,
your hand if you have a question.
oh,
Yes, Bronson?
I wrote the multiplication sign instead of putting
That's fine.
the.
Okay, question number, or example number 2. We have 2 plus 0.5 times 6 minus 2 minus 1. So what's our first step? Parentheses, right? So we're going to write a P for parentheses. We're going to do that one first. So it's going to be 2 plus 0.5 times, what's 6 minus 2? 4. So the only thing I changed was the parentheses, right? I worked the inside of that.
Oh, that's 0.5.
Yep, 0.5. Or 5/10. So what's our next step?
Exponent.
Are there any exponents?
No.
No. Okay, next.
Multiplication and division.
Good. Can we divide?
Yeah. We know.
No, so we're just going to multiply, right?
Yes.
Now we do have a decimal. We have 0.5 times 4. So I'm going to multiply on this side. What's 5 times 4?
20.
And then the decimal, we move it over once, right? There's only one number behind the decimal. So your answer is what? 2. So you have 2 plus 2 minus 1. Now, do any of you guys know what 0.5 is as a fraction? How would we write 0.5 as a fraction?
1 over 5. Wait, no. 1 half?
1/2, right? If you think about it, 50 cents, that's half of a dollar, right? So 0.5 or 5/10 is the same thing as 1/2. And so then what's half of 4? 2, right? And is that the answer we got? Yes, right? So that would be another way to do it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we did multiplication. Now we have addition and subtraction left. What do I do first? We're going to add. So 2 plus 2 is 4. And then what's 4 minus 1? 3. Remember, we lost the decimal because we had 2 points. So here we ended up with 2.0. Do we need to have the point and the 0? No, that's the same thing as just 2, right? And so that's what happened to the decimal. Ended up going away.
Do the integers like 4 plus keep changing? Do we have to do that?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that, but it's the same thing, right? So 4 plus the negative 1 is 3. Yeah. So, yep. When the first number is bigger, just do your normal subtraction, right? When the number is smaller, that's when you want to make sure you do the keep change. Okay, example 3. Okay, I'm trying to see how I can do this so you guys don't have to write as much. Okay, so you guys, have most of you been on a roller coaster? There might be some of you who haven't, which is fine. So we're going to have a roller coaster. Oh, so you're looking at it from the top. If you guys have ever been on a roller coaster, they're usually connected, right? The little cars. So the roller coaster has 4 cars, right? So car 1, car 2. So we'll write car 1, car 2, car 3, and car 4, right? 4 cars. So we're going to write down 4 seats in each car. Make sure your cars are little, right? Don't make huge, giant cars because then you won't be able to finish your notes. 4. There'll be 4. Okay, so there's 4 different cars. 4 seats in each car, right? So how many people can go in each car?
16.
Well, total you could have 16, right? But there's 4 in each one. Okay, we're going to write down 2 empty seats in 1 car. How many people are on the roller coaster? Right? So some of you guys might have already figured it out, but you do need to be able to also write down what it looks like mathematically, right? Which means you have to be able to show in numbers what we're talking about, okay? So, what would be different ways to try to find the answer? How would you solve this one? Armando?
There's 4 people in 3 cars, right? So you multiply 4 times 3,
So we got 4 times 3.
and then you add 2.
Add 2. So remember, there's 4 people in each car, right? And there's 2 in 1. So that would be one way. What would be another way? Miguel?
4 times 4 minus 2.
Okay, so 4 times 4 because there's 4 cars, 4 in each one, and you subtract 2. Good. So let's see if they both give us the same answer. So what do I do first, multiplication or addition? Multiplication. So that's going to be 12 plus 2, and 12 plus 2 is 4. And then we have 4 times 4 is 16, minus 2 is 14. Oops, I forgot the 1 there. So either way, you would get the right answer, right? So the correct answer would be 14 people. And remember, when you enter answers, you want to make sure you write 14. Now, some of you guys, you could have just counted out, right? That also works. But it's also good to make sure you double check with your math. Yeah, there's only one more example, and you should have room to do that one. Okay, this one, you're going to draw 3 friends. Okay, so this is going to be, so there's another Jacob in this class. So I have Jacob and his 2 friends, okay? So if it's Jacob and 2 friends, how many are there total?
3.
There's 3 of them, right? And they want to throw a party where you have soda and chips and popcorn. Okay? And so then they're each going to give $100. So, yeah, they all have a lot of money. That is quite a bit of money, right? It's not a little bit of money. That's a good amount of money. Okay, but if you guys ever think about when your parents throw you parties, they spend money. Okay, so 3 friends, they each are going to give $100, right? So how much money do they have total?
300.
Right? Total, they have $300. They went to the store, and they spent $210. So how much money will each of them get back? Okay, so we need to think about, well, how would we show this with math, right? So what would be the expression for that? Armando?
You subtract 300 by 210, and then you divide it by 3. The answer that you get from that, you divide it by 3.
Okay, and then Stacia, why do we divide by 3?
Or the 30 minus 200. Or 300 minus 200.
No, I mean, why are we going to divide by 3?
So that you can see how much each person gets.
Right, we want to know how much each one of them gets back, right? Because we're going to have to divide it back. Because they're going to be like, hey, where's my money? AJ? Never mind. Edson?
You put parentheses around the 300
Yeah, you can do that. So you know you have to do that first, right? You can do that if you want. So what's 300 minus 210?
190.
190?
Well, yeah.
Well, okay, so 210 plus 100 is what?
90.
390, right? So it's only going to be 90
Oh.
divided by 3. And what's 90 divided by 3? 30. Good. So I'm going to put my money sign on the outside because on the answers, right, when you do your quiz and when you do homework, you don't want to put the money sign, just the 30. Okay, so go ahead and glue your foldable on the left side.